Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the VentShow. I'm your host, Andy Sharp. We are going to try to do a live broadcast today. Now, this could either go very well and smoothly, or it could crash and burn. So, first of all, thank you for being here. Again, I'm your host, Andy Sharp. This is the VentShow. Got some things on my mind I want to talk to you guys about. Again, it's always about your feedback. We need your feedback. We need to know what it is you're thinking. We need to know what you think about the topics, how we can make the show better. Even if it means getting my ugly mug out of here, whatever it takes. I want to make sure that we provide a great entertainment benefit to you, as well as giving you the opportunity to vent. That's what the Vent Show is all about. It's about being a part of your resources, a part of a way of you dealing with your coping mechanism, whether it's your support system. Make the Vent Show a part of your day. Come in to listen, come in to participate. We're on Discord right now. You can join the live chat. We're on Discord. Of course, we're live streaming here on Facebook. Trying to get the Twitch going. A little bit of a trouble there. But we're going to kind of click around here. I'm going to do a lot of clicking and clacking and trying to get through these stories. But again, I want to talk about the serious subjects today. The subject on my mind today, in particular, will be one of the support for our veterans and for our law enforcement community. So, with that being said, we're going to kind of get into it here a little bit. And what really kind of brought this to my attention and got me kind of, I don't want to say fired up, but made me feel like I had to say something on it was a recent experience, a recent news story that kind of went viral. Regarding a interaction between a city inspector, an inspector in the city of Jacksonville, Florida, a code enforcement inspector, and an exchange that she had with a veteran and business owner of a local motorsports business. Now, I will say that I was a business owner in Jacksonville. I'm familiar with code enforcement there. They have a job to do. I understand that. But when they talk about the unprofessionalism or the challenging nature and attitude and disdain that some of these inspectors have, I understand it firsthand. I've had to deal with it, especially with some of these flag issues. Now, not specifically dealing with the American flag, but the different code enforcement issues. So again, today's topic we're going to talk about is supporting our law enforcement, supporting our military, making sure we understand what it is that they're sacrificing, what it is that they're doing, why we have the liberties and freedoms that we have, and understanding some basic things to just understand that these are people too. And I want to get out there and say again, we're going to talk about the incident in Jacksonville with the city inspector, but that just kind of brought things to a head. But keep in mind, these are people. These are regular people. These are fallible people. And if we're talking about law enforcement, my particular feelings, and I have a lot of personal opinions on the matter, I haven't always had the greatest interaction with law enforcement. I'm not a criminal. I haven't been in jail. I haven't been to prison. I think like everybody in person maybe with my background and size, you can have interactions with law enforcement. As a business owner, it was frequent to have interactions with law enforcement. They weren't all bad. A lot of them were good. In fact, the majority of them were probably very good. But again, it's a few incidents that are negative that can kind of put a taste in your mouth. And so we're talking specifically about the incident that occurred here in Jacksonville, Florida. We're talking about a city inspector. I'm going to go through the story here a little bit. I know I won't read it verbatim. But we're talking about, looks like it was back just a few days ago in April. City inspector came into this business. It's called Jacksonville Motorsports. I'm familiar with the business. They sell motorcycles, ATVs, personal watercraft. I mean, it's Florida. So if you wanted to get a nice bike, if you wanted to get a rocket or a nice jet ski, that's probably the place you'd go. And again, she came in there talking about the way that the business was flying the military flags. Now, my understanding, and again, from my personal experience as a business owner and being familiar with the code enforcement and having started a new business in Jacksonville. They're very specific about signage, like many communities are. Not hard to understand, not shocking. But basically the idea is that you have so many, for how many square feet of exterior space you have on your building is an allotment for what you can put up as signage. Flags are considered signs, even if they're temporary, even if you bring them in. We had flags in front of our business, but apparently that was her issue. And she wanted to issue, this was Monday this week, she wanted to issue a citation for the flying of the military flags, which she said was code violation. That was a warning citation. Her name is Melinda Power. It doesn't say exactly how long she's been an inspector, but she went into Jacksonville Jaguar Power Sports in the West Side because of the flags on the roof, which represented each branch of the military. The rooftop display included 2 U.S. flags and the Jacksonville Jaguars football team flag. So it says employees at the business heard a customer overheard Power issuing the warning, which told the business to correct the violation at risk of prosecution for the offense. So there was a customer who's a military veteran who kind of took issue with this. He got upset, and then this confrontation happened. So, to be clear, it wasn't the business owner. It was a customer, a military veteran. So he obviously heard what was going on, probably saw our attitude about it, and had something to say. I mean, that's our right. They say Powers insulted the customer, and after he told her he almost lost his life serving in the military. Now, there's video on this incident. They, of course, had surveillance in the store. But she comes in her uniform. They act like they own the place. They come in with their pad and their Power, and oddly enough, her name is Power. But anyway, she got into it with this customer. Really had no even reason to engage with this person. I mean, she wasn't there to issue him the citation, and whatever his thoughts were on the matter, were moot, I guess, in the idea of what she was there to do. But she stooped to a level and felt like she needed to defend her position or the city's position on what they're going to do with these flags. So the customer actually asked her, he said, "Do you know what I did?" And she responded, "Nothing." So, of course, he admittedly got upset by that. And he basically told her that he took 3 bullets. And she got in his face, it says here. She got in his face. He told him he took 3 bullets while serving in the military over there. He took 3 bullets in the leg and almost lost his life. So it says she gets in his face. You can see it in the video. She gets in his face very, very close and says, "You did nothing for this country." And of course, there was a witness, store employee, that attested to that. So apparently her opinion is that people that risk their lives and take bullets for in the course and scope of their duties in serving this country do nothing but provide her the freedoms and the authority to do her job under the power of the city of Jacksonville and the great state of Florida, right? So after that, of course, there's a big backlash. This hit the news. It went viral. Eventually, it got to her Facebook. People found out who she was pretty quickly, and they reached out to her on social media. People were going after her. She issued a statement, which is now gone. But of course, everything's on the internet's out there forever. She issued a statement. I'll read it. She put, "I have been asked to repost. I have the utmost respect for the military. My father was a World War II POW, husband Vietnam vet, son-in-law retired Marine, Kuden Brig General." Again, there's some typos here. I don't know if she had a couple drinks, but it says basically, while most will not agree with the citation for military signs, it was a code violation. This was changed today, as it should be. The veteran business owner put him in the conversation was also not pleased. "I thought he said, 'Do you know what I did?' I said nothing. That's when he said bullet wounds, etc. Tempers on all sides flared. I should have never been unprofessional and disrespectful, period. Sincerely apologize." Now that post is gone. It was taken down. Why? I'm sure she had some advice from her union. Again, we're dealing with unions here as well. Unions who are given the power to use their numbers and their strength by the freedoms that our military provides and the lives that we're given. So America's a great country. Greatest in the world, many would say. Many Americans would definitely say. Some people would say it's because we've given the most blood. Maybe not. But we are the best trained military in the world. We're a military of volunteers. Volunteers. Okay? I'm honored to know people that serve currently today and people that have served in all branches of the military. And if you know anybody or have anybody in your family that served in the military, you know the sacrifice that they go through. And we're not just talking about going to boot camp and getting your ass kicked and, getting treated like shit and preparing you for the horrors of war and the horrors of the world that is outside of our borders. But it's the sacrifice of the families at home, the mothers, the daughters, the wives, the sisters, the brothers, aunts, the uncles, everybody, not knowing whether they might even see that loved one again. They might get hurt. They might get killed in training. They don't know where they're being deployed. But they know that they made a commitment. And in all essence, they've signed their life away to the United States government in a contract. And if anybody has served in the military or reviewed any of that, that's in essence what you're doing. And so to volunteer to do that means that you have a higher purpose or you have a personal feeling about it. Now, sure, there's a lot of people that join the military for educational purposes, for getting a GI Bill, for getting opportunities, for career, for learning skills. But we need all of those people. We need all those people to be the volunteers that we need to step up and protect this country when it needs it. And we don't know when that would need it. We know we always need to be protected, but we don't know when an event might happen, like the events that have happened in this country and around this world. And when we may need those brave men and women to step up and be the shield and the sword in front of all of us and to protect our livelihoods and our comforts that we have here in America. So getting back to this here, again, this one big time. This went viral. The mayor of Jacksonville, Lenny Curry, stepped in. He made a comment. Again, he's on Twitter. I don't want to make this too political. I want to make a point. I want to make the point of supporting our military and law enforcement. That doesn't mean we support all of them in everything that they always do. Okay. Again, these are fallible people, and they're put in impossible positions sometimes. And these people do make mistakes, and it can and does and has cost people lives. So I'm not here to defend every police officer and every military person that served, because everyone has their own, they have to be accountable for their actions. But in general, as a whole, they deserve our respect and they deserve our support. But the mayor weighed in here and he said, he says, we support our military and veterans. We appreciate businesses and honor those who serve. Looks like his staff said that they're going to investigate the incident and is reviewing this current ordinances to ensure accurate information was shared. So there was a city hall meeting, and people were flooding them, or they're attacking them with phone calls. So the managers apparently knew that citation or that warning wasn't gonna fly. So they ripped it up, and they're gonna keep their flags going, because now they've empowered. Now they empowered them and gave them a platform to speak for all of us and to stand for all the military people and folks that want to even fly a flag in the front of their home. I mean, we need to ask permission. We need to ask somebody, or need to ask our government permission to fly a flag in front of our home or in our business. Why? Why would we ever need to ask anybody's permission to do that? I had an interaction with somebody at work, and we had a friendly conversation. And he made the comment, he said, well, that's very American of you to say. And although I didn't feel it was appropriate to assume anybody's, nationality, I'm a proud American. I'm proud to be an American. But I wonder if I would have said, that's very African of you. or that's very Irish of you, how that might be taken. So, Americans in a certain way, whether it's law enforcement or whether it's military, we are kind of under attack in terms of the perception and the way people want to treat us as citizens. That's why it's so important that we stay together and that we have a common message and we support the positive and we sort of support the people that are doing positive and that are, again, the tip of the spear, as they say, in what we're doing. So it went from that to now they're calling, there's petitions. They want her canned. They want her ass canned. Maybe she should be. I don't know how long she's been doing this, but it looks like they're getting they got more than 1,700 people to sign one of 3 petitions. You can go and look at the petition at change.org. I mean, I can put these links up on the Facebook page. I'll put them up on the website as well. Again, the website is VentShow.net, VentShow.net. But they're calling for a job. They want her out of there over this. So her supervisor, they suspended her with pay, of course, because the union's not going to let you go home and then not get paid, whatever union it is. But the mayor, again, followed up the story and talked about the issuing of the citation and the video. As of Wednesday morning, it had over 9 million views on Facebook. 9 million views. This is getting a lot of attention and shared over 1 million times. So they suspended her. There's an interview here with the store owner explaining what started the military flag controversy, kind of give you some background on it. Again, the flags are on the rooftop. There were 2 United States flags representing 2 United States flags, and then flags representing each branch of the U.S. military, and a Jacksonville Jaguars flag. So they backed off that citation, the warning. Employees said a customer who happened to be a wounded warrior overheard Powers issuing the citation. He got upset. Again, he objected, and her attitude was, "You did nothing for this country." Now, I'm curious, Ms. Powers, what have you done for this country? What have you done for this country? Now, you said you had relatives that served. Now, I wonder how they would feel about your attitude and about your comments. Do you think you honored them? You think this Marine Brigadier General, you think you honored him by speaking in a disparaging way to this wounded hero, to this veteran that was lucky enough to make it back? I mean, I can imagine if he was shot, maybe a couple of his buddies didn't make it back. What did you do for this country? What have you done for this country? Besides be quick to throw out the fact that you have veterans in your family. Well, let's talk about that then. You had a World War II POW in your family, in your history? I mean, maybe that's true, maybe it's not. But what way do you think you honored that person in your life, that person in your family? You think you honored them by taking this attitude? But this really wasn't even the person that you had the beef with. But you had to make it personal. Because you've probably done it 1,000 times before in the city of Jacksonville and harassing and bullying business owners, which is the common MO out of that office there. And I can tell you personally, again, I lived in the city of Jacksonville. I've dealt with these people. Looking at her face, I even feel like I had to deal with her before on flag issues, to be quite honest with you. Okay? So what have you done for this country, Ms. Powers? So again, the mayor got involved. They're talking about the flags. Everything's on camera. I mean, the question is, should she be canned? You guys think she should be canned? I mean, you think that this is enough, that she overstepped her bounds? She displayed unprofessionalism? Just do you think she should be canned? Do you think she should lose her job? Obviously, it's not criminal conduct. Some people even commented she'd probably go get a job in California. I mean, if I was a betting man, they're pretty liberal. That's probably true. The customer that confronted Powers, the guy that he doesn't want to be named. He doesn't want to be named. He doesn't want to get dragged in this mud, right? But he did talk to News4Jax, which is one of Jacksonville's leading news agencies. He said he'd like Powers to apologize to the whole veteran community. And he said he doesn't want anyone to lose their job. That sounds pretty professional. That sounds like a very forgiving person. That sounds like a person that's made peace with whatever it is that they had to deal with in their life, and that they have compassion for somebody. A lesson to be learned there, Ms. Powers. So the sales manager, Marcy Moyer of Jaguar Power Sports, appreciates all the support, but they've also said they don't want her to lose her job. It says, we don't wish her any ill will. The city of Jacksonville is taking responsibility, and whatever that means. People need to support what the city of Jacksonville deems appropriate for their employee. Well, again, she apologized. Monday night, she got on the Facebooks, and she made this comment. I read the comment earlier, but basically she's trying to throw the fact out that, it's the old thing. Well, I don't have a problem with veterans. I got veterans in my family. My best friends are veterans. Right. That may be true, but you certainly did not honor them by your attitude and the way you handled this. So let's talk a little bit about veterans here. Let's talk about why they should be respected. I think we generally have an idea. We talked about it earlier. They're the tip of the spear. They're the shield. Whether you agree with the military industrial complex or the government and all that kind of stuff, we are a nation of soldier volunteers from the very beginning, right? If we were taught any history, that these were people, these were citizens that stood up and rose to the challenge. These were farmers, these were militias. These were bands of people, communities that came together. Right. And that's basically what it is today. Sure. Has it been perverted a little bit? It absolutely has. Has it become tainted? Absolutely it has. But it hasn't changed the core that these are good people in every one of our communities, people in our lives that deserve and demand our respect and support until they deem and show otherwise. Again, I'm not here to defend every police officer. I'm not here to defend every person in the military. People do make mistakes. We are fallible. We are all fallible. But the majority are good and deserve our love and support, and they deserve our respect. But again, imagine you're going to the park, you're taking your kids from school, and we talk about venting and all this shit, right? You could be having a bad day stuck in traffic, but it's probably a lot better than those guys that are stuck over there and those gals stuck in the sand, and they don't get a hot meal for months. They're getting shot at every fucking day. They can't sleep. They got to sleep with one eye open. Sand is in every part of their body, And that's the easy shit, right? Imagine your best friend in the whole wide world, right? And you imagine being over there and watching their head get blown off or get blown into a million bits. It's horrible. It's horrible. And I wouldn't want anybody to have to go through that, but that's the reality. Or like this gentleman, he took 3 bullets in his leg. Do you think he almost died? It's probably a pretty good chance. So how about that medic or that corpsman? Or that doctor that saved that soldier, this man, that patched him up. The nurses that helped him get through this, the mental anguish of maybe not even seeing his family. This is all important. These are all reasons why we need to consider people that don't support our military, our veterans in particular, and law enforcement. Law enforcement's under attack right now. And, I'm not saying they shouldn't be to a certain degree. But the few incidents that we do see, they're too many. They're too many. They're horrible. They're too many. But it doesn't speak to the whole. These are people that committed their education. And maybe for some of them, it's a power trip. I get that. I've run into plenty of power trip cops. I ran into some pretty good ones too. Some pretty damn good people, that go to school, they get a 4-year degree, and they go and sit in a hot car with all this fucking gear on, getting treated like shit for maybe $30,000 or $40,000 a year. Wow, that sounds like a fucking dream, doesn't it? But imagine what would happen if we didn't have those police. It could go a million different ways. I'm not saying it would be complete chaos. And I'm not saying police are there to prevent crime. I want to be very clear on this. But they're a necessary part of our society, much like our military is. And with all the threats that we're talking about and we're seeing around the world today, we absolutely need to support them and find better ways to help them deal with the stresses of their job and empower them in give them the tools to be better and more successful, whether it's dealing with mental illness. Okay, the gentleman was shot 20 times in his parents' backyard. Doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good. There's a naked man that was assaulted. Doesn't sound good. But understanding what these people go through day to day, knowing, you're riding in a Humvee or you're riding in an armored vehicle and you're driving down a road that you're just waiting for the bombs to go off. You're just waiting for an IED to go off. It's there. And you got to trust and hope that the buddy that's trained in front of you may not even know, can find it before it blows up and kills you. Takes everything away from you. Or you're that police officer that goes into these homes, these domestic violence situations and sees things that you never want to see, that nobody should see. And they got to eat that sin and take that home and act like nothing happened and go home and hug their wife and kids and have a meal and try to conduct themselves like a normal human being like you and I. A normal human being. I don't know if you call that normal. But try to make sense of it all. Knowing the depravity and the sickness and the disgusting nature of humanity sometimes is out there, and seeing that every day. So consider these things when you're talking about not supporting military or attacking the military. So just to put things into perspective, and we have a Veterans Day. Veterans Day was something that Dwight D. Eisenhower, of course, one of the probably beloved president and a military genius, some would say. It's like in 1954, he created Veterans Day, put it on the calendar, put it on the books. Now, in general, many polls say that 3/4 of Americans do support the military, and that's good. That's a good start. But when we have these conversations and these things come up in social media, especially from government officials and people that are in power, basically citizens. She's a sworn, I guess, deputy or agent, if you will, of the city of Jacksonville, in this particular gal, Miss Powers. But, they're acting in a higher authority, and they're speaking for the people. And we need to hold those people accountable. So that's a good thing, that most of our military is supported by most of the population here. But it's important to talk about, what's happening to our veterans. There's a lot of veterans, but do you know that there's less than 600 living World War I veterans in the world? I mean, that's nothing. Looks like World War II, there's 20% of all veterans are from World War II. Korea, Vietnam, we have 10 million Vietnam veterans, it looks like, active living. Post-Vietnam, about 6 million. So we have about 25 million veterans in this country that we need to support, that we need to show respect to. Now, it's a personal thing for me. Again, I'm proud to say that I know people that currently serve, people that are currently deployed in different branches of the military, people that have served, good people, family people, honest people, hardworking people. And those are the people that I'm speaking up for. And I know that's a majority of those people, police officers as well. So let's keep that in mind. And one thing I try to instill on my children is when I would see a veteran or a person that I believed or identified as a veteran, and maybe they were wearing a hat, and this isn't always 100%. Maybe they're wearing their hat, maybe they're out in their BDUs, you got to be careful about that too. These guys running around these uniforms acting like they did something. But I'm talking about the real ones, the genuine ones, and you can generally tell. But go up to them and shake their hand and tell them that you appreciate their service to this country. And you'll know pretty quickly in the humility that they have, whether they actually served or not. It won't take you very long. But I really feel that they appreciate that. And not only that, when they're there with their wife or their children, it lets them know that they did something great, and they should feel that way, that they did something great for this country and they accomplished something, and that it's respected by generations, by all backgrounds, by all genders of people. We respect their service. So keep that in mind. We're still in wartime. I think this country has been in war. It's increasingly been in war more and more every year. And that's a problem. That's a problem I think hopefully we'll address, and might take a different generation to do that. But it's definitely worth talking about. So we got this inspector, and she started this conversation. Again, this is Andy Sharp. I'm just gonna bring it back here a little bit. I'm Andy Sharp. You're listening to the VentShow. You can see everything that we do. This is the first live broadcast, so if it's really, really not hitting home for you here, I apologize. We're going to work this out. But I want to engage with you. I want to get your feedback. It doesn't have to be good feedback. If you tell me I'm an idiot, you don't like the sound of my voice, whatever it is, it's all feedback, and feedback is a blessing. But visit us at ventshow.net. We are on Twitch, VentShow. We're on Facebook, VentShow. Twitter, Vent_show. Instagram, Vent_show. Okay. Share in any format, any medium that you have to communicate with us. Let us know. We're on Discord. You can join the live chat. I got the live chat going on right now. You can go into Discord. It's a public. Just go to our website, ventshow.net. There's a very easy instructions on how to click and get into the live chat. But we want to support these veterans, and we need to make sure in our law enforcement, and we need to make sure that we understand that we do that. Now, there are benefits and things, there are resources. I'm going to put those on the website. There are resources to the VA. Again, the VA hasn't always done right by our veterans. I think they're doing an improved job from what I can tell, and from the reports that are published. They could be doing better, but there are resources. But the resources and benefits don't just extend to the soldier, to the person that served, but their families too. Because again, we're not just talking about the sacrifice and the commitment that individual soldier makes. And it's the greatest one, because they're literally giving their life. They're signing their life away to the U.S. government, but also the support that they have with their family and their loved ones. It could be that young husband and they go to war, or that young wife and they're going to war, and they maybe haven't had a chance to even have a child yet. And all that's on the line for you and I. And if they are taken and they fall on the field of battle, many would think it's glorious in some ways, but what a tragedy that would be. And we're not going to dwell too much on the concept of war. We want to keep it positive. Again, we want to talk about the issue. We want to talk about the resources, and we want to try to come up with a resolution. So again, I thank you for your time. I'm Andy Sharp. This is the first live broadcast that we're doing here for VentShow. Again, I'm looking for your feedback. But this is important. This is important, and it touches upon the subject of not just respecting law enforcement and military, but respecting each other too, and understanding that everybody has that story. Everybody has a commitment to something, and everybody is going through their own shit. So again, we're talking about the particular incident we're talking about that happened in Jacksonville, Florida, with a city inspector by the last name of Powers that went into Jaguar Motorsports, was going to write them a citation, or actually wrote them a warning for improper display of flags, military and United States flags, and a Jacksonville Jaguars flag on the top of their building. Again, I've dealt with the city of Jacksonville code enforcement department myself. In the same side of town, this west side, I can't say for sure, but this lady, Miss Powers, does seem familiar to me, because I was also issued warnings by her department for flags. So I'm not surprised about this issue. I feel a familiarity with this subject, knowing the community down there, and seeing it from the side of the business owner. So it's important to have the conversation about why that happened and why she felt empowered to do that. Now, again, we're talking about supporting our military. We're talking about being positive and creating solutions. Now, for me, when I was as a business owner and down in the Jacksonville community, I loved it whenever I had a veteran come in. I love to hire veterans. Now, I don't know what the hang up is about hiring veterans. Not sure, they might have some PTSD type things, and maybe there's specific roles, but these are typically some of the most highly capable, qualified, committed people for any job. And the level of training and skills that they've had to display and practice and drill are better than most people receive in any college. Real hands-on experience. And if you can do this stuff in a combat zone, then you could probably do it, on the streets of Jacksonville or in any city. So when we talk about law enforcement, it gets into a little bit different subject. Again, we've all had different experiences with law enforcement. Now, law enforcement, they have a job to do. It's enforcing the law, or what they perceive to be the law. Doesn't mean that they have to be right. Doesn't mean they even have to know the law in most cases. But they have to have the spirit of enforcing the law. So some police officers might be like, just lock them all up. We'll let the judge sort it out, which isn't necessarily the right way to do it. And obviously there's a few police officers that just shoot it out and, let the unions handle it. Now, again, I'm not supporting those actions. I'm not supporting that negative attitude, whether it's towards a race or a specific person. I don't support that. And those people will hopefully be brought to justice on a more regular basis in our society. But let's focus on the positive. The ones that are actually taking these reports and closing cases and investigating crimes against children and against, domestic violence and property crimes, and being some kind of buffer, some kind of hope out there between law and order and lawlessness and anarchy, because that's really the options that we have. So again, I'm Andy Sharp. You're watching The Vent Show. You're listening to The Vent Show, the first live broadcast. You can listen to us on Spreaker, Spreaker.com. We have the live show. We're on Facebook Live right now. Hope you guys are watching. We need your feedback. I need you to get in touch with me. I need you to go to ventshow.net. You can subscribe. We're on YouTube, VentShow. You can see everything there. I need your subscription. I need you to like. I need you to share. I need some kind of feedback out of you here. I want to do a great job for you. This is a passion project for me. I want to share my thoughts, but I want to hear what you have to say. So, I think on that note, we're gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna get some music here playing for you. We're gonna wrap this up in a good way. Again, I'm Andy Sharp. I appreciate you being here today. Just remember that we all deserve respect. We all deserve the respect. We should give the respect. We should also be willing to give respect. Do one kind thing each day, at least, and do it on purpose for somebody. Hold the door, smile, nice compliment, any kind of kind gesture goes a long way. And even if you're in a dark place, seek that out and understand that you will get through this. You will get through whatever it is in your life. Time is the only thing, it's a big thing that we have very little control over. But be positive. Have a good attitude. Know that you are loved. And tell those in your life that you love them every day, every moment you can. So again, I thank you for watching. I thank you for listening. I'm your host, Andy Sharp. And good night.